Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. Meron, sir.
Yeah, very good morning. Nice to hear your voice from Dharwad.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. So probably just 2-3 minutes, we are going to kickstart.
Yes, sir. It's so nice to see you all, sir, again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So you will see a lot of youngsters and junior and senior faculty and everyone
Yes,
today.
sir. It is so nice, sir. So nice.
Thank you.
Sir, shall I use microphone or it is audible, sir?
It is perfectly audible right now.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Perfectly audible. Not to worry at all. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Merurandan. I am Colonel Prasanna here, and I'll be the anchor for the day. And we'll be talking very often through the day today.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Very good morning. Nice to see you all, sir.
Is it fine?
So, time now, as per our clock, is 9:49 a.m. and we shall be starting at 10 a.m. sharp. So, those of you who are around and whose friends have not logged in, may like to inform your friends to log in as soon as possible. The next few minutes, people should log in. Anna ma'am, would you like to mute yourself for the time being?
Sir?
Would you like to mute yourself for the time being, please?
Okay, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you all to our international conference on neoteric advances in commerce, management, and social sciences. The international conference being organized by MBA BU program of the Anand Sagar College of Arts, Science, and Commerce. And I am Colonel Prasanna. I'm a professor of General Management area, and I teach strategic management. And it's my pleasure to be your anchor today. You'll see me often through the proceedings of the day today. I take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Merunandan, who is our keynote speaker of the day, our director, Dr. B.R. Venkatesh, who is with me, who is going to be logged in through this login ID itself. And we are sitting together today for this conference, for the inaugural session today. I welcome all the students. I welcome the faculty members from our department, as well as faculty members from other institutions and other people from the industry who have joined us today. Welcome everyone, and it's a pleasure for me to anchor this session today. I would request our director, Dr. B.R. Venkatesh, to give the inaugural address. But before handing over the camera to him, I would request one of our students, Jaya Sindhu, to play the invocation song to inaugurate the session. Jaya Sindhu, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं भक्त मीरा की जैसे बुलाते नहीं भक्त मीरा की जैसे बुलाते नहीं अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभं रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभं कौन कहते हैं भगवान खाते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान खाते नहीं माँ यशोदा जैसे खिलाते नहीं माँ यशोदा जैसे खिलाते नहीं अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभं रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम कौन कहते हैं भगवान सोते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान सोते नहीं माँ यशोदा जैसे सुलाते नहीं माँ यशोदा जैसे सुलाते नहीं अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभं रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभं कौन कहते हैं भगवान नाचते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान नाचते नहीं गोपियाओं की तरह नचाते नहीं गोपियाओं की तरह नचाते नहीं थैंक यू सर सर यू आर ऑन म्यूट
Thank you, Jaya Sindhu. Thank you for this lovely invocation song. And I take this opportunity to now introduce our director, Dr. B.R. Venkatesh, who will inaugurate the session. Dr. Venkatesh has a vast industry experience of over 21 years in different sectors like capital goods, industry cables, hydraulics, and IT. He had worked in HMT, Bartley Boy, Yukan Hydraulics, Phenolux Cables, MIL, and SAP. He holds a B degree from RV College of Engineering and has won a gold medal from there. He has done his MPhil and PhD from Bharatiya University. He has an academic experience of over 15 years in colleges like Global Academy of Technology, Alliance University, and is currently serving as Director and Professor of MBA BU Department at Dayanand Sagar College of Arts, Science and Commerce. He has been a panel member in many prestigious industry events and continues to be invited as a resource person for soft skills trainings at corporates for communication skills and GD labs. He is an ardent yoga practitioner and has delivered a number of training sessions and webinars in the field. I would now request Dr. B.R. Venkatesh to give the formal inaugural address of the session today and tomorrow about this conference itself. Over to you, sir. He is sitting with me, so he will be seen on the same login ID.
Hello, very good morning to all of you. My dear student scholars, faculty scholars, corporate executive scholars, and today's panel experts, and all the dignitaries participating in this momentous conference. I feel immensely pleased, and I take this opportunity to give a very small introduction about our institution, because quite a good number of participants are probably not very much aware of the institution, and also briefly explain the rationale behind this International Conference. My dear scholars, our MBA program, which has been affiliated to Bangalore University, was established exactly about 23 years ago under the renowned and esteemed educational umbrella of Dayanand Sagar institutions. With an annual intake of 180, we do offer specializations like marketing management, finance management, human resource management, and banking and insurance. And of course, our dual specialization offering is an integral part of our institutional offer. A good number of certification programs are also offered in advanced fields like logistics and supply chain management, security analysis, digital marketing, business analytics, and many such. We strongly feel and sincerely believe that these certification programs will enable the students to come out with flying colors so that they are fit to face the corporate world today. Our department of MBE, BU, we call it lovingly, it has made an emphatic niche in the academic circles and recruiting corporate world for the holistic students that we provide, prepare, provide, and contribute to our society. Now, dear friends, it is time to speak about a little bit about the rationale behind this conference theme. As all of you are aware, change is the only constant in this ever-changing and dynamic world. With or without world wars, with or without pandemics, be it corona or plague or any other worldwide pandemic, changes are bound to happen in each and every field of society, and that's life. Then what is the speciality this time? We have seen Great Depression, we have seen World War I, II, and all that, but this time we give a very special significance for the current corona pandemic or COVID-19 pandemic. What is that? This COVID pandemic has typically influenced, compelled us, pressurized us, and finally ensured many significant changes in the way we think, in the way we manufacture, in the way we produce goods and services, in the way we conduct, we live, and finally, my dear friends, in the way we lead our lives and the way we are going to lead our lives further. Just to highlight a few typical changes which has led us to this particular conference theme, let me tell you, my dear friends, personal becomes dangerous. Earlier we used to ask, we are going to do everything online. And today we ask, is there a necessity to do in person? Why not online? That is the thing. A new kind of patriotism. What is that? Earlier we were thinking that patriotic in the sense, going to have fully equipped armed forces at the borders. But my dear friends, our patriotism has changed its definition itself. I and you cannot shoot a virus or a bacteria. And today our frontline warriors are nurses, doctors, health workers, public service providers, etc. A decline in polarization. Today, we can see fusion-like energy and singularity of purpose to help us reset and regroup. Our common enemy has become corona or COVID-19 virus. A return to faith in serious experts. To a great extent, in this particular period, we had lost our hope and faith in experts. But today we have suddenly started believing in our scientists, our doctors, and our innovators. Now, less individualism. Why am I saying this? Earlier, we were probably focused more on self, and we were selfish to a great extent. But today, we want good for the public. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu, we have started calling that as a mantram. Religious worship looks different. Whether we are Christians or Hindus or Muslims or to whichever religion we belong to, today our type of worship has changed. Just for an example, Sri Venkateshwara Bhakti channel offers Kalyanotsavam of Lord Sri Venkateshwara digitally. The devotees can sit in front of the TV. They may speak about their Gotram, Nakshatram and other things, and they are going to offer their pranams and salutations to the Lord digitally. Even prayers have become virtual. Mourning has become virtual. Celebrations have become virtual. So when that is the case, religious worship looks different. Get-togethers have become virtual and whatnot. Now, we were earlier putting a lot of regulatory barriers for digitization. And today we are the first people to remove all regulatory barriers as far as digitization is concerned. Now, a healthier digital lifestyle. This is slightly debatable. We call it as healthier. Many of us have become probably couch potatoes because we continuously sit in front of the monitors or in front of TVs, all-in-one equipment, and we do not know where, and probably we turn out into couch potatoes. And few people have become extremely healthy, extremely socially networking, health conscious. Early morning, they do practice all the required, whether it is yoga or gym or other exercises. Probably I can say that this has become a boon to virtual reality. And now on the other side, if you look at telemedicine has become the order of the day. Earlier, for anything and everything, we believed in personally meeting the doctors. And today, telemedicine is the order of the day. Now this COVID-19 has opened ourselves towards a stronger family care. Probably we were not worrying so much about our spouses and children, and today it cannot be. Please now have a look at the other one. The very government has become a big pharma. Whether it is innovation, encouragement to the field of science, manufacturing vaccines, logistics and supply chain management wise, delivering vaccines, all these things, in totality, we have seen government as a big pharma. Probably we may not express any kind of a surprise if our parliament sessions and assembly sessions are going to turn out to virtual reality. A new civic federalism has come into place. The rules what we are following so far, they are not going to be applied anymore. More restraints on mass consumption, stronger domestic supply chains. We have hunger for diversion. Now the very definition of change itself has changed. Now please have a look at certain things which I'm going to run through. The domain of real estate has changed a lot. Work from home has become the order of the day. Jobs are lost in plenty. New jobs have evolved in new domains. Salary structures have changed thoroughly. Earlier, 100 units of salary, as I understand and read, on All India survey basis, 75% of the companies have reduced the salaries of their employees by 30 to 35%. Is it good or bad? Probably it is debatable, but new jobs have evolved. HR policies have greatly changed. Markets are no more the old ones. Home deliveries of goods, food, services, everything has started. Security protocols are changed. Health has occupied the first priority. Children are in home rather than they're in schools, and government has started giving a kind of option either to stay back and listen to the lectures online or to attend. But fortunately now things are settling to a bigger and a better way, and things are improved, and classes are going to commence in campus. Now, online programs and educational courses have increased, and the fee for online courses have decreased. Personal communication, I really don't know, has it improved or has it taken a beating? It is a big question. Social gatherings are not really encouraged. Pharmaceutical industry and of course good doctors have probably gained quite a lot. Traditional food habits have changed. Interest in the deposits have gone down. Inflation is under a kind of control. Elderly pensioners are facing the brunt. Problem of migrant population is plenty, especially in a country like ours, that's India. Badly hit bottom tiers of the society, tough economic revival, boost to innovations in both products as well as services, boost to MSME, that is micro, small and medium scale industries. And of course, startups are given a big encouragement by both the state government as well as central government, and many more. So dear friends, while looking at this particular conference theme, why I elaborated these many changes is, as I said in the very beginning, change is the only constant in this ever-changing world. In fact, just to further, today we have an excellent guest speaker who is going to be introduced by our faculty, Ms. Naina. He is a KS officer and he is also connected with a lot of social activities for the welfare of the society. He is going to address this particular conference as a keynote speaker. And I would like to also inform all the esteemed participants here that we are going to have a wonderful panel discussions exactly from 3:30 to 5 p.m. And the topic is very interesting. As a country, are we ready technologically as well as logistically to deliver COVID vaccination? And the experts are going to speak. I request each one of you, and probably I can say I suggest each one of you to certainly participate in these panel discussions and expand the knowledge horizon. In addition to all these things, my dear friends, today's international conference is aimed to provide an excellent knowledge exchange platform for the academicians, researchers, student scholars, faculty scholars, and corporate executive scholars. You can share your ideas in the research findings in the areas of commerce, management, economics, and social sciences. And of course, this is going to help you in expanding your very healthy, future beneficial network. With this brief explanation about the rationale behind our today's international conference on neoteric advances in commerce, management, and social sciences, I feel the topic or the theme is best fit for today's condition. I wish all of you to have a wonderful intellectual exchange of ideas, thoughts, and processes. Have a very good day. Have a very meaningful dialogue. Wishing you all the very best. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. Over to Colonel Prasanna.
Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh. That was indeed an insightful and a very welcoming inaugural address. I now request my colleague, Professor Naina, to come on camera and introduce our keynote speaker of the day. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to introduce Sri Merunandan, coming from a small town and a family of farmers, has achieved much in life. He is an MA in English Literature and LLB from Bangalore University. As a KS officer, he is serving the Karnataka state government since 2006. He has been actively involved in anti-narcotics activities in the state and also in awareness program on controlling alcohol consumption in the state. Sri Merunandan has served as Deputy Commissioner of Excise in many districts like Bagalkot, Belgaum, Kaivara, and Udupi. He has authored a book called Constitution of India and Business Ethics, which is a very popularly referred and recommended book among many Karnataka state universities and students aspiring to take up Public Service Commission exams. A spiritually inclined person, Sri Meru Nandan is currently serving as Joint Director of Agricultural Produce Market Committee. I welcome you, sir.
Very good
Thank you,
morning.
ma'am.
Very good morning.
Now I would like to hand over the camera and the session to Mr. Merunandan, our keynote speaker for the day. Over to you, Merunandan, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Is it audible to all?
Yes, you are audible, sir. Please go ahead.
Hello, good morning. I am very grateful to Director Sir. I am very grateful to all the faculty members, all the students, my dear students, and all industry luminaries there. I am from Dharwad. I am talking to you on topic Indian economy energizing the roots. As Director Sir was explaining you in his address, we are now facing a health emergency. Is it audible to all?
Yes, it is audible.
Yeah, we are now facing, the world is facing a health emergency. This health emergency has created another emergency or another crisis, that is economic crisis. So Indian economy, many of us believe COVID-19 has not only given a negative thing for the humanity, but also it has evoked a positive signal, some line, silver line in this crisis. That is the COVID-19 pandemic has given the Indian economy a chance to analyze, reflect, introspect, and tackle the long-term structural and fiscal challenges that have prevented the economic growth from the past. I believe this crisis has created a very, very good opportunity for all our young minds of India, because India was traditionally pushed as developing country, developing and underdeveloped. All those line tags was there for this country. But today, when a crisis came, a strong political leadership and very, very committed Indian population totally supported the political leadership, and finally we are able to overcome the crisis. That is, we are able to overcome the health emergency. So because of the vaccines today, now vaccines are being supplied, and basically the first warrior, I believe, the first line warrior is Indian immunity, our immunity within ourselves. That has been the first warrior, because medicine or any care comes next. First is the Indian immunity, the immunity within ourselves, the Indianness, the Indian genes has fought heavily whenever the whole world today is in crisis because they could not. India, which was pushed to the last benches in the past, is now in the forefront. Everyone is looking for India, towards India. And Indian people stood as one in this crisis. The world is facing the largest human crisis. Every country has been affected because of this. And because of this, the second emergency created or second crisis created was economic crisis. Zero economic activity, disruption of supply chain networks, falling global demands, supply gluts leading to the price fall, loss of trust and confidence, and the fear of gloomy future. So COVID-19 is a health crisis worldwide. It also generated a global economic crisis. The WTO has expected the world growth to fall between 13% to 32% in 2020. The employment rates, loss of 230 million full-time jobs of 40 hours labor, International Labour Organization has declared. 1.5% growth rate worldwide will fall. And it is estimated next in future, in 1 or 2 years, the growth, the world growth or world trade growth will be very, very negative. In this pandemic, the other crises which went across the globe was the rising trade protectionism, ongoing tariff wars between US and China, unilateral economic sanctions, standstill at WTO talks, waning economic and financial institutions. This is the world situation today. Every country, nearly 210 countries, are facing health crisis and economic crisis. But what is the fate of India? India also suffered, also faced economic crisis. But one thing is, we overcome that health crisis, health emergency or health crisis. We were able to, our people stood united, our ancient traditions, spiritual practices, Ayurvedic medicine, the internal strength of Indianness is being able to defeat coronavirus, and people now are getting vaccines, and possibly we are able to stop that health emergency which would have been devastated, because everyone thought that India is a has huge population and it has very weak health facilities, and we don't have so much of advanced technology in health. But anyhow, we ourselves are so potential enough individuals as teams, in towns, in villages, in cities, everyone stood as one. So that crisis we were able to overcome, or we were able to stop. But now the second crisis, which is because of this coronavirus and because of lockdown, is the economic crisis. Already people has lost jobs, people have certain loss of income, causing major drop in demand. Supply demand chain has dismantled, and trade has already the growth of economy is already suffered. So what is that? What should we do now? What is the next course of action to revive the economy? Yes, we are able to stop the health crisis, health emergency, we were able to contain. Now the second question is economic crisis. So now the participation of government has taken a serious role, a major role in health emergency. But now again, government, both public and private partnership is very essential, because the lockdowns has created so much of economic disparity, so much of economic loss. Household income has come down, people has lost jobs, companies could not open, manufacturing and production stopped. But in spite of it, the government and India as a total, as a country, tackled this type of problems. The IMF report, recent IMF World Economic Outlook, the IMF report projects a rebound in the growth of Indian economy in 2021 at the rate of 7.4%. The only country where IMF has so much of hope is India, because they feel India can rebound. India has the potential to rebound. Many of them felt that even in health emergency or health crisis, India will fail. No, we succeeded. Now the second thing, in international, all agencies, World Bank, IMF, everything is projecting, okay, because of the strong leadership and committed people of India, we feel, or the world now is feeling or looking towards India, because the projection is in 2021 is 7.4%. So the confidence in the economic system of India and the governments has given a boost to the future of this country, because this is the decade. See, normally whenever we talk of India and its growth, we always feel 21st century is India's century. For that, this decade of 2021 to 2030 is very crucial. We can't lose this opportunity. This is an opportunity when everyone is feeling or lost hope. Only India, the common man of India, every one of you in that crisis, you stood up. Every man, woman, kid, child, every person on road, our policemen, our government officers, private private people, private companies, everyone stood as one, and the strong leadership provided at the center and the states has made us to be a united country in the crisis. So government has announced a range of fiscal and monetary stimulus packages. Government has come forward with economic packages. RBI has announced a pumping of more money into banks for enhancing lending capability, relaxing the time period for declaring bad loans as non-performing assets, reducing interest rates to encourage entrepreneurial activities with a special thrust on small and medium enterprises. The government also transferred so much of money to Jan Dhan accounts to partially mitigate the income losses to the poor and daily wage earners. The government has already announced a fiscal support of 1 lakh crores, which is in addition to the support measures that other state governments have taken so far. So fiscal and monetary reforms are there on the line. And now I am talking of the structural reforms. See, in an economy, only fiscal and monetary reforms is sufficient. The structural reform should happen. It is important for India to restructure the fundamentals of economy so that we grow as a strong and vibrant economy. Structural reforms are must and should continue to focus on strengthening the country's economic fundamentals. Only then they can contribute meaningfully towards a more robust and resilient economy. So one example I'll take for this, that is the Indian Agriculture Act of 2020. This Indian agriculture, earlier we had a system. We had, from very young days of our schooling, we had a line. India traditionally is an agriculture country. We had one single line always. We also remember, now you also remember, Indian backbone is Indian agriculture. This country's backbone is Indian agriculture, is the backbone of this country. Now, after Corona, it has totally changed. What is changed? Now, agribusiness is the backbone of India or Indian agriculture. Indian agriculture has converted itself to Indian agribusiness. So today, agribusiness is the buzzword in the international trade, or wherever we feel that we want to trade. India is capable of geographically, India is located in such a position that we have so much of sunlight, so much of resources, that India can produce so much of food to the world. Today, every country is realizing, because the structural reforms, what the Prime Minister and the government thought was, we have to open our Indian agriculture to the world. So that's why they started thinking in those lines, and Indian Agriculture Act of 2020 was passed in the parliament. You have three major amendments or acts which has been implemented. One is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020. In this act, the farmers can sell their produce outside the mandis or agriculture producing marketing committees, APMs as we call, to whomever they want. Earlier, what was the system? Every agriculturist or a farmer should take his produce to APMCs or the specified mandis where the commission agent will or the trader will bid for it, and finally he would purchase. So the wholesaler will take it and send it to the industry. What did they now want? Now the government the act provides for a farmer to directly sell his produce without a middleman, without mandis or APMCs or the commission agents who are in the mandis, directly to an industry or to a factory, to a businessman. So this is the one other provisions which expanded the scope of trade area of farmers' produce from select areas to any place of production, collection and aggregation. You need not come to APMC mandis. You can directly sell your farm produce at the gates of the farm to any businessman, to any industry, to any food processing units. Everything is approved now. Earlier it was not. Now, again, further going, it allows electronic trading and e-commerce of scheduled farmers' produce. So, e-commerce in agriculture produce is added. Third, it also prohibits the state government. Earlier it was a state law. Now it has been taken into a central law. And all over India, no state can levy market fee. No state can levy market fee on agriculture produce. So farmers, traders, and electronic trading platforms for trading farmers' produce was opened, was open to outside. Anywhere you can trade, any farmer can directly trade, and you need not levy any market fee. Then second one is Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act of 2020. This act gives a chance for contract farming. See, normally Indian agriculture and Indian farmers were suffering because of price fluctuations. So much of price fluctuations happen, and you have earlier seen so many times farmers throwing their produce on the streets for not getting good prices, and farmers' incentive to grow was shut down. Now this act says you can go for contract farming. Before you grow anything, any farmer can have an agreement with any business house or business establishment or food processing industry, and earlier the price is fixed, so that before you grow anything on the field, your price is assured. So provides a legal framework for farmers to enter into pre-arranged contracts with buyers, including mentioning of pricing. Second one is the dispute resolution. If there is any dispute between the business people or trader or farmer, there is a dispute resolution mechanism established. And third one is Essential Commodities Amendment Act of 2020. You have been earlier seeing that hoarding has been a major thing. So the food produce was hoarded, and once the price increased, then they were released into the market, and this gave so much of margin to the traders. Now the Essential Commodities Amendment Act removes foodstuffs such as salts, pulses, potato, onions, edible oilseeds, and oils from the list of essential commodities, removing stock holding limits on such items except under extraordinary circumstances. Only under extraordinary circumstances you can restrict the hoardment or restrict the collection of these, and all restrictions on storing of these food products are now removed. And this gave a chance for agriculture to become agribusiness. So agribusiness has become an order of the day. Then you may ask, so before that, the Prime Minister, once he was referring this laws in the Parliament, he said it has a watershed moment in the history of Indian agriculture, and stated the bills will ensure a complete transformation of the agriculture sector and empowers tens of millions of farmers. So the Prime Minister is hoping that these type of laws, new type of agricultural system in this agriculture sector will open up Indian farmers to world trade, into international trades. See, these gave so much of opportunity to farmers. But recently you are seeing so much of resistance from a few farmers from Haryana and Punjab on the borders of Delhi. You are seeing so much of protest against these bills. So these bills are being protested on the contention that this will give away MSP, that is minimum support price. Earlier government was having the concept of MSP. The Agriculture Commission, the Agriculture Price Commission, was fixing the price for that particular produce, and that in that produce, Food Corporation of India was purchasing that product. So it was fixed. That price was given to the farmer. Gradually, the protest is because gradually this type of protection to farmers in form of MSP will be removed. So the Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court recently has taken this view, and this has become a contention issue now. But internationally, the agriculture and its agriculture trade has picked up. I can give an example. India is the largest producer of rice, and China is the largest importer of rice. Traditionally, China never imported from India. We know the tensions of borders between India and China, and never China supported Indian rice. For the first time in the history, China has ordered for 10,000 million tons of rice. The reasons are, first thing, we are opening up Indian agriculture. Agriculturists agriculture produce today is in great demand. India's agriculture produce, the almost all countries today is looking towards India for their basic food. Recently, we from APEDA, Agriculture Produce Export Commission, we have sent basic vegetables to London, to European countries, tomatoes, chilies, everything was cleared by the government of India because the food emergency also has started because of Corona. So much of food farmers never enter the fields in Europe, never enter the fields in Western countries. Our farmers were so strong. They started. They never thought of Corona in the rural sides of India because I am working in a rural area. I am in the rice zone of Karnataka. The districts of Ballari and Raichur are called as the rice zones. We worked from last 1 year. I'm seeing no farmer. Already they have reaped 3 farming seasons for rice. In a year, we are locked down and we are inside the house. But farmers and agriculture did not stop. They were involved in their activity. But again strong, and we did not see so much of Corona impact in rural areas. But they grew, they made it a practice. But now, because of the shortage of food all around the globe, Bangladesh recently never accepted Indian rice. Now they have asked for 3 lakh tons of rice. So everywhere, the All India Rice Exporters Association is getting so much of demand for Indian rice. Earlier, we had only one rice which has been exported, that is basmati. Now, the traditional non-basmati rice, which we are growing in Ballari, Raichur, Sirguppa, Singanur, where in a small areas of Karnataka, we are getting so much of demand. Recently, 300 bogie rail rake was started from Gangavati, which is a small area in Koppal district, to Calcutta, ports of Calcutta, to supply rice from Karnataka to China and Bangladesh. See the demand for agriculture. Now it has opened up an opportunity. Many of the Indians during the lockdown period left the cities. Now many software engineers, many people who are working in factories turn towards villages. Now they are exploring the possibilities of agriculture in the fields. Many of the fields, I am also from agriculture background, we have seen in our villages so much of shortage of labor. But today, after Corona, suddenly our educated people are people who knew technology, who knew science, who knew everything of Western world and modern world is moving towards villages. So, and agriculture has suddenly become a hub world. So much of opportunity. This trend will open up many opportunities for young Indians in the field of agriculture and agribusiness. That's why this law. Why they made this law? Because to give a boost to Indian agriculture, these laws were made. But anyhow, related to the protest and everything, finally government and Supreme Court and finally farmers will take a decision. But it has opened up. This is one other example of how the gradually Indian economy, which was pushed down in the past, is now getting so much of opportunities. This is I call it as a first mover advantage. See, the world is so big and so many nations, so much of opportunities are there for every country. But who will move first? They will gain. So now Indian agriculture has so much of opportunity today. If they move first, if we capture that area. See, a traditional enemy like China, who is the largest, having the largest population in the world, want our rice. Countries which was traditionally Taiwan, Vietnam, all were exporting to China. But because of the price factor, see for every per ton, it is $370 to $380 in Vietnam and Thailand. And it is 460 and 470 in Vietnam and Thailand. For India, it is only 370 and 380, about $100 less. So Indian rice, cost-wise, is also less. So we have so much of supply, we can support many countries of the world, and cost-wise, it's also economical. So this is an opportunity I look into. Second thing is, for all this, these are the structural things. See, fiscal and monetary things, pumping in money to economy, putting so much of money into healthcare, so much of public funding into creating infrastructure in health. All this needs so much of revenue, so much of funds. So government is under crisis today. We have huge crunch of funds. Spending on COVID-19 has put heavy pressure on government revenue. So where is revenue? Where should we mobilize revenue? This is the question of government. What should we do? From where should we get it? So the government is trying to consider all these aspects, and they don't want, see, it is both public and private. When we participate together, only country will grow. It is not that only private people are only public. So government has to provide basic infrastructure, certain facilities for private people to grow, private sector to grow. So we have government is thinking, because in another few days we are going to see the budget of the union government. The revenue mobilization part is very, very crucial. So government, now we have GST. The recent trend shows that there is a huge collection of GST also, but because of the lockdown, because of the economic factors, Corona and COVID-19 pandemic, those revenue mobilization has almost reduced. So now there is a rethinking of how to share between GST between the union and the states, and a rational situation is going to emerge. Next, strengthening tax administration and to reduce tax frauds, evasions, etc. is also in the mind. And plugging the loopholes of taxation of interstate trade of GST goods also is going to happen. But again, in this crisis, public spending is very crucial. We have to look into the health aspect of the country. We have to put so much of infrastructure on health care. Second thing is so much of public funding towards industry, because industry has totally suffered because of lockdowns. So much of lockdowns has reduced demand, and household also. When employment opportunities are not there, when the salaries are reduced, how to spend? The household spending is the principal source that can trigger the economy by demanding goods. But the money at the hand of the poor people by cash transfer makes sense, as they will probably spend the entire amount fueling demand, as their saving propensity is negligible. So household spending should increase. How to increase this household spending? When we are at lockdown, government has to pump in so much of money. So a Keynesian type large scale fiscal stimulus. Keynes has given this theory of Keynes chain theory, where you have to spend so much on public spending should increase, so it creates a multiplier effect on spending and creating demand. You have to artificially push the demand factor. So there is so much of supply, but the demand factor is very, very weak. So a Keynesian type of large fiscal stimulus is the need of the hour, and the government may think of this in the upcoming union budget. Now, I'm talking of a very peculiar thing. This is related to international business. What is the opportunity now? We are talking of this. Earlier, I talked of India and inside India. Now, we look into the global phenomena. What has happened? Emergence of gated globalization. The world economies are intertwined, and industries and business pursue outsourcing and offshoring strategies in an attempt to go lean and save costs of labor, production, inventory, and supply chain. COVID-19 and the recent trade wars have revealed the vulnerability of these supply chains. When exposed to a pandemic, natural disaster, or due to protectionist measures imposed by major trading partners across the globe, this has called for immediate measures to restructure these supply chains. In our globalized world, the spread of coronavirus did not take time. More than 210 nations were affected immediately. The most interesting observation is that the economies with the highest level of exposure to China, either through Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, you may understand that China Belt and Road Initiative was a strategy initiated by the China that seeks to connect Asia, Africa, and Europe via land and maritime networks, with the aim of improving regional integration, increasing trade, and stimulating economic growth. This was coined by Dadan Chinese President Xi Jinping in 2013, which was an inspiration drawn of the road, Silk Road, established during the Han Dynasty in 2000 years ago. They want to have a network of trade routes connecting China to Europe, to South Asia, to all these type of things. This Chinese initiation of BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, has been associated with large programs of investment. Chinese investment going to other countries for infrastructure, for power plants, for telecommunication networks. This high quality investment has made inroads to China, to other countries, so many countries. Now the MOU is between China and 138 other countries. This Belt and Road Initiative was the one which affected by the coronavirus. This exposure can be evidenced with the case of Italy, one of the highest COVID affected nations. China was not only Italy's largest cooperative trade partner, but ever since the nation became BRI member in 2019, it emerged as one of the major destinations of Chinese FDI. So you know Italy, how it suffered. It suffered because from 2019, Chinese presence in both as a foreign direct investment and as a trade partner, huge Chinese investment and Chinese link. Suddenly this global link created a pathway for entry of this virus. After the COVID-19, now what happened? After the COVID-19 pandemic, this is bound to bring about a significant change on the plans of regional connectivity. Now connecting between nations, the globalized world made so much of connection between nations, trade, industry, commerce, created so much of connectivity. Now economies are thinking otherwise. After Corona crisis, economies are thinking otherwise. With economies getting insulated as an immediate response to the crisis, globalization goals are severely affected. Trade routes are being seen with suspicion. Investment in foreign destinations to exploit global value chains in usual destinations will be cast with doubts. So this is the point which we have to be very careful. Yes, we opened the doors, we made inroads into so many countries, but at the same time, as economic activity started, any emergency, any disaster can also move as fast as it is. Dr. Gurudas Das, Professor of Economics, National Institute of Technology, Silchar, explained two possibilities in his article, Shock, Flip Side of Globalization After COVID Pandemic. He put forth this gated globalization is the new concept of the world, rather than unfettered market-led globalization. He says, first, globalization not only unlocks the means for the market, it also adds wings to the epidemics that spread in no time across the geographical, political, and social borders and boundaries. From the source at Wuhan in China, COVID traveled through the highways of globalization and reached global nerve centers of trade, commerce, and tourism like New York, London, Paris, Milan, Madrid, etc., which are densely populated. The global value chain circuits linked with Wuhan, like Detroit and Northern Italy, have also acted as a carrier of COVID-19. Similar trend is also visible in India, where globally connected cities were affected first, like Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Indore, Kolkata, Bangalore, and Chennai, were affected by coronavirus. They acted as a gateways through which COVID-19 entered the country. So today, the economic logic of globalization has been questioned because it also carries these dangers, these viruses. Then what is the strategy? Then what should we do? The strategy is now, today nations are in a mood of reflection as to how to optimize the economic gain subject to the least cost in terms of loss of life of the citizens arising out of the contagious like COVID-19. One of the ideas is gated globalization rather than unfettered market-led globalization. So what is this? This is the first one. Second thing is, as the global firms in their bid to remain competitive have crafted the circuits of global value chain centering around China. First is China created so much of network into interlands of so many nations through BRI. And now the second factor is China, many global firms in their bid to remain competitive, cost effective, has crafted the circuits of global value chain centering on China. Governments and firms all over the world realize that Dereliction of such an architect of global manufacturing, particularly during the time of national emergencies. Once the pandemic broke loose in Wuhan and countries shut their doors to China, suddenly everyone thought that, okay, we should close the doors to China. Their firms and governments find themselves in a helpless situation as their supply chains get cut off. So many of the supply, raw material supply, the finished product supply were from China. Suddenly, because of the coronavirus, when we shut the doors, there was shortage of supply. Even the governments of leading developed countries like USA, UK, France, and Italy find it hard to ensure adequate supply of medicinal equipment and accessories like COVID-19 testing kits, ventilators, personal protection equipment, sanitizers, masks, gloves, stethoscope, amplifiers, thermal guns, disinfectants, etc. Firms producing electronic and electrical goods, automobiles, pharmaceutical products, and so on in both the developed and developing countries had to face tremendous hardship as their productions are linked to inputs imported from China. So you shut the door to China because of virus, fine. But what about the supply which was coming from China? So nations realized, world over nations and businessmen and governments realized. This is the realization that over dependence on a single source is a threat not only to business, but also to a nation, as dawned in the minds of the leaders of business and politics. The idea of gated globalization is thus gaining currency, which requires creation and development of multiple value chains and alternative supply chains so that if one circuit gets disconnected, businesses can fall back on others. Nations could have options to switch gear from one circuit to another as and when needed. This is what is Dr. Gurudas Das tells in his article, Shock, the flip side of globalization. This is how he recommends a gated globalization. What is this gated globalization? You should have a control. What to enter, what not to enter. I will tell you in later that this also will have so many problems in future. But now, as a response to the crisis, the new concept which has emerged in the world is gated globalization. In this situation, what is the role of India? When this global situation is like this, can India, how India is now positioned in the globe? See, India and China are competitors because they are having huge human resource. They are technologically fit and they are having ancient traditions to support. So now India has been successful in managing and surviving the health disaster. The efforts of government and the Honorable Prime Minister in this regard, and every person of India, people of India are so commendable for this because everyone stood as one. Now the question is, how can this united India, a re-emerging India, stand in this global world? The recalibrations have globally in terms of supply chains, and particularly involving the decoupling of China with several economies, notably USA. We have recently seen USA and China trade wars. So one is trying to prevent other, another is trying to overcome other. All these trade wars has given a huge opportunity for India to evolve rapidly as a major exporting hub for manufactured goods. Yes, I understand, and we also know that there will be tough competition to attract investors to India. But globally, now India is being seen as a trustworthy partner because earlier China has lost this mark of trust. So now India has a huge opportunity to attract investors. Some of the industries which may try to locate their parts and components and ingredient production in India will be automobile, electrical, power sector, electronics, machine tools, machinery, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, agro processing, garments, food and fruit processing, etc. All these industries worldwide are now looking towards India. So the massive support given in most of the major consuming economies, the year 2021 promises to be good for the world trade, and this will give an opportunity to our Indian MSMEs, that is medium and small enterprise sector, to get a foothold in the global value chains. So it is an important that today MSMEs, small businesses, as service telling startups as a good opportunity to garner this situation. Just this is the time where our people, our businessmen, our industries should take this opportunity. This will give an important opening now, and the public side, that is the public sector, that is the government, has to invest heavily on infrastructure, because we are now opening when Indian firms, Indian industries are going to capture this opportunity.
We have a time check.
Hello.
So we have a time check now. 11, the new session has to start, sir. So what do you?
Yeah. So this, yes, sir. I'll finish it off. So India has given so much of opportunities now, and China can't be a trusted partner anymore. This opportunity should be garnered by India. We have so much of physical, social, natural, and human capital available in the country. We have huge potential for virtual services, and the digital transformation also can give so much of boost to Indian entrepreneurs. And we have so much of technology such as Internet of Things, robotics, automation, artificial intelligence, blockchains, drones, cloud services, where India may have to move rapidly and can become a world leader. So the important thing is the human capital, which is embedded with spirituality, spiritual practices, skilled human capital. We have the ancient tradition of yoga, pranayama, dhyana, devotion, and faith towards Almighty, Ayurvedic medicines. Everything has supported this. Our Indian brains, Indian human capital is so strong to face these challenges, and they can do wonders in digital space, mostly from the services, and both from the manufacturing and services and in the agriculture field. Indians have so much of opportunity now. So India has an important role to play now. We are in extremely challenging times now, but perhaps we are also heading for a much brighter future. Yes, it gives so much of challenges. The time now is full of challenges, but it also leads us to a brighter future. We have to adopt innovative strategies. Our business, our supply chains capabilities, and new technologies should start with us. And Indian companies should, domestic industry should focus on more on improving productivity and quality. And Indian competitiveness in the international market should improve, and the government is keen on improving this. And we all, and Indian business, we as individuals should take this opportunity to grab this situation to our support. And I'm extremely happy. So you have all given me a chance. So I think so. This is the time where all our entrepreneurs, our businessmen, including government, should think of having its role in making India as a strong nation. This is the opportunity, sir. We don't consider it as a threat. It is an opportunity now. And I have given the sources where I took all this. These are the reports of IMF and World Bank, where India is now taking the role of leader in bringing back the world economy. It is not only Indian economy, the world economy. Thanks to one and all, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Merunandan. I now hand over to my colleague, Professor Shriyank Levy, for a quick vote of thanks. We have very little time left now. Actually, the next session time has already started. So we'll quickly give a vote of thanks. Over to you, Professor Shriyank.
Thank you, sir. Welcome you all on this pleasant day. I would like to start with a word of wisdom. Knowledge is a process of filing of facts. Wisdom lies in their simplification, by Martin Luther King Jr. On that note, I would like to wish you good morning to everyone. It's my honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks on inauguration for our international conference on neoteric advances in commerce, management, and social science. First of all, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to our chief guest and keynote speaker, Merunandan sir. He has given a valued inputs in the topic that he has taken up, and particularly from the part of the MBA BU department, DSCMIT. I thank Merunanda sir for accepting our invitation and providing a valuable inputs in our introduction conference. I'm also very thankful for our management, in particularly our secretary, Shri Galik Suvi sir, for his support and constant motivation. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our director, B.R. Venkatesh, for being there for everything from the inception of the idea for the execution of it, which is a rare commodity nowadays. We are honored to have you, sir, as a leader. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank the Branding Factor, Horizon, TBS for organizing the panel discussions. Last but not least, I would like to thank our organization committee, invitees, dignitaries, faculty members, staff, technical committee, and student audience for their valuable participation. Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful session.
Thank you, Professor Shreyank. I would now like to close this session, and all the participants are requested to join the different track sessions of your areas of interest, which will be running in parallel. That is, the time to start was 11, but we are now going to start at around 11:05. Now it's 11:07 or so. We will start the sessions, and accordingly, the timings will be compressed a little bit through each session. I would also like to remind all the students and participants not to miss the panel discussion that starts at 3:30 today afternoon. That's going to be participated by eminent people from the industry and the government. So kindly join that session. Don't miss that one at all. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining this session. See you in the next track sessions in your respective areas of interest. Thank you so much. Bye-bye and take care. Have a great day.